Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family. As you can see, I couldn't be more excited. Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez, because it's heating up. We've been discussing Julian Alvarez potentially to Paris Saint Germain for over 2 years. Obviously, we heavily discussed it before his move from Manchester City to Atletico Madrid. Paris Saint Germain, especially Luis Enrique, were extremely interested in signing Julian Alvarez in that summer transfer window. And another player, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Obviously, we didn't get either. Kvara stayed at Napoli because they didn't want to sell him. And Julian Alvarez obviously went to Atletico Madrid. Fast forward 6 months, and we got Khvicha Kvaratskhelia in the January transfer window, and he had a huge impact on Paris Saint Germain winning the UEFA Champions League. I believe he had 5 GA in the UEFA Champions League knockout stages with Paris Saint Germain that season, including offside goal, Liverpool, and all of that. And now, in the summer transfer window, we did a little bit of business. Got Zabarni, got Lucas Chevalier, tried for Franco Mastantuono and Magnus Achliush, but couldn't make it happen. And now, once again, we're nearly in the January transfer window, and Paris Saint-Germain are looking to make another January blockbuster signing to improve the season. So, this is the report that recently dropped, and I would say this is the best reporter we've seen discuss the Julian Alvarez topic. Let's get into it. So, from Sasha Tachivirili, who works for Sky. Okay, that's the wrong link in there. Luis Enrique is a big admirer of Julian Alvarez, who he considers an ideal profile to bolster the Parisian club's attacking sector, a lead that could heat up in the upcoming transfer windows. I don't like that. I don't like upcoming transfer windows. I want him now. Obviously, doesn't happen in January. Can go for in the summer. Maybe Atletico wouldn't want to sell in January, but Luis Enrique, big admirer of Julian Alvarez. And I mean, it makes sense. Julian Alvarez is like a false nine type of a striker. He's a striker and a false nine at the same time. That's why I believe Julian Alvarez is like the perfect profile for the system, because he will give you, the runs, the finishing, the goal scoring of a striker, but he will also give you the playmaking, the dropping, going to the side, and Paris Saint-Germain will still be extremely fluid with Julian Alvarez up top. If you put, let's say, Guirassy, Paris Saint-Germain are going to become less fluid and less dynamic in attack. We saw against Liverpool, Barcola, Dembele, Khvicha, once Dembele on the left, once Dembele on the right, once in the center. With Julian Alvarez, that still works. He also likes to drift to the left side as well. The PSG management has been studying the possibility of a transfer on the attacking front for several weeks, and Alvarez himself would view a move under the Spanish coach orders very favorably. Julian Alvarez. Although several English clubs as well as FC Barcelona have expressed interest, Alvarez no longer envisions returning to the Premier League, where he feels he has already given his all. The players would open the door to a move to Paris, provided the clubs can reach an agreement. I want to say the Premier League is cooked and all of that, but obviously, Julian Alvarez has already been in the Premier League. 2 Premier League titles? Maybe 3? What a farmers league. Anyways, he's already done it in the Premier League. And it's less about that. It's more players don't care about the Premier League. I think Julian Alvarez saw the Premier League as a stepping stone. I think maybe when he was younger, he was always looking at La Liga, Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, which most football players do. So he only saw the Premier League as a stepping stone. Madrid are not going to go for Julian Alvarez, obviously. So basically, the only competition we have left is FC Barcelona. And when you look at FC Barcelona as a club, you're like, that could be tough competition. But then you look at their economics. And yes, they just got the Camp Nou for half a season. And obviously, Laporta is going to be a presidential election year. So I think maybe Laporta is going to try to have Julian Alvarez or Erling Haaland as that blockbuster. If you vote for me, I will sign him in the summer. The thing is, Barca don't have that money. Every single report you see about Barca player linked to a player that is worth at least 80 million euros doesn't make any sense at all. How much money did Barca spend last summer? I think 25? No, so it was like 23, 25 for Juan Garcia. Then they got Rooney Bardghji for like 3.5 million. The year before that, they spent all their 60 million on Dani Olmo. And then before that, they used levers for the Rafinhas, for the Koundés. So FC Barcelona, even, I don't know if the Camp Nou, it's only 62k capacity, 55k capacity. Even if they make it 100k, they're never going to have that money for the summer transfer window. So I think it's a clear way for Paris Saint Germain, which is absolutely perfect. This is what Paris Saint Germain wants, because Julian Alvarez made it very clear it's PSG or Barca. But Barca can't afford him. It will only be Paris Saint Germain. So that way, Atletico Madrid will not be in a situation where they're trying to, make it into a bidding war, and we'll have to do this, and what has Barca offered? We got to offer better. We got to offer bonuses. We ain't got to do that. We're not in a position where other teams are competing with us for the Julian Alvarez track, which is absolutely perfect for Paris Saint Germain. So he's not going to go to the Premier League, and he's not going to go to FC Barcelona. That is 100% clear. That said, a major obstacle remains: the excessive demands from Atletico Madrid, who are asking up to 120 million euros to release their goal scorer, an amount considered abusive so far. They fear attacks who can fit into Luis Enrique's system, as well as the Argentine, whose perfectly measured ego would adapt seamlessly to the efforts required by the former Roja coach. This find is therefore one to watch. 120 million for Julian Alvarez is abusive, considered abusive at the Paris Saint Germain headquarters. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, we bought Randal Colomani for 90 million. I don't think we felt... I mean, that was abuse. That was filthy abused. We were abused by Frankfurt and by Randal Colomani. But look, Atletico Madrid, I think they bought Julian Alvarez for 90, 100 million euros. So them wanting 120, especially for January or maybe in the summer, it's a very fair price tag. And looking at the transfer, I mean, Arsenal bought Declan Rice for that kind of money. Caicedo was bought for that kind of money. 120 million for Julian Alvarez is great. And I'm even more happy because of this. This was reported before by Sport, less reliable. But as you can see, Atletico Madrid are willing to negotiate with Barca for Julian Alvarez, but only tune of 150 million euros. So I'm happy that price, or at least potential price, has dropped. 150 was a little bit too much. 120 makes sense. As I said, Atletico Madrid invested heavily in Julian Alvarez, and they would definitely want to make at least a little bit of a profit for everything they've gone through and everything. But as you can see, always from the Spanish reports, they're pushing the Alvarez to Barca. Alvarez to Barca. Does Alvarez want to go to Barca? I think so. Does Barca want Alvarez? 100%. Does that mean it's going to happen? No, because of the economical situation. I mean, Julian Alvarez would have to take a slave wage, and Atletico Madrid would have to accept a 60 million offer for this to happen. So, Spanish reports. Then I want to go through this. So this was a video I made before. We have some other reports. Julian Alvarez would like to leave Atletico Madrid this winter to join Paris Saint Germain. According to the Madrid press, the former Manchester City player regrets his choice, finding Diego Simeone's style of play too restrictive. He sees PSG as an opportunity to establish himself in an attacking project under the guidance of Luis Enrique, and within a team that is the reigning European champion. Paris, which plays with Ousmane Dembele as a false nine, will represent an ideal environment for him to fully express his talents. Beautiful. So we can see for Julian Alvarez, he's absolutely twerking for Paris Saint Germain, which is absolutely lovely to see. One thing I want to discuss here, as you can see, Ousmane Dembele, false nine, and so on, because a lot of people are maybe against the Julian Alvarez potential signing because we have Ousmane Dembele as the false nine, because they feel that Dembele is worse off the right. They feel we're downgrading Dembele. It's not good optics and so on. And I completely disagree with that. I mean, the best example I like to make is, Barca used to have Messi, Neymar, and Alexis Sanchez, or whoever he was among them in attack. They signed Luis Suarez, and Messi was put on the right, and Messi won the Ballon d'Or that year. And I believe the absolute same with Ousmane Dembele. Not that he's on Messi level, but Ousmane Dembele, what makes him so good is his versatility, is his fluidity. Who remembers versus Liverpool, where Dembouz was dropping sometimes to the right, cooking McAllister and Robbo, creating that huge chance for João Neves, against City. I don't know why people think Ousmane Dembele can only play as a false nine and can only play at Ballon d'Or level as a false nine. I remember last season, yes, in the beginning, it was only Ligue 1. He was cooking off the right. It was only Ligue 1, I know. But mentally, he wasn't there for the UCL yet. So Ousmane Dembele, that's why he's the best player in the world. There are no problems with Ousmane Dembele. We're not in an Mbappe situation. Oh, if we sign him, Mbappe is going to become mad. He will not perform in this position. This is Ousmane Dembele we're talking about. The best player in the world. The most versatile player in the world. Ousmane Dembele, Julian Alvarez, check for that attack with Desiree Doué in the box. Pray for Europe and its defenders. So what we can say from these reports, it's Julian Alvarez leave Atletico Madrid after choosing Atletico. Yeah, so what's quite clear is Julian Alvarez Oh my days. What's quite clear is that Julian Alvarez wants to join Paris Saint Germain. That is quite clear. Okay, let's go through all the parties. Julian Alvarez 100% wants to join Paris Saint Germain. That is 100% clear. Luis Enrique and the Paris Saint Germain board 100% want Julian Alvarez. The only remaining question mark is the potential price tag. I believe 120 million is a good price tag. I believe so. But Paris Saint Germain, as they always do, will try to take down the price. I mean, we bought Kvaratskhelia for 70 million euros. United bought Mbuemo. Newcastle bought Elanga. They bought Voltmade for 95. We got Kvaratskhelia for 70. So, you know what? If Luis Campos wants to do this, and especially because we're the only club that Julian Alvarez wants to go to because Barca is not an option, we can negotiate in a very great way. Will this happen in January? Will this happen in the summer? We'll have to wait and see. But Paris Saint Germain, we've seen it before with Khvicha, and I remember reports from the summer, Paris Saint Germain used the summer transfer window to buy the essentials. Zabarni was essential. Replacing Donnarumma, according to Lutro and the Paris Saint Germain board, was essential. Julian Alvarez is great, but it's not essential. That's what we like to do in January. Opportunistic transfers, and that's exactly what's opening up the doors here for Paris Saint Germain in the January transfer window. It's obviously a World Cup here. Julian Alvarez would absolutely love to be part of Paris Saint Germain this season, maybe go far in the UCL, and maybe do it in the World Cup with Argentina. So the last thing, there's a little bit question mark from Paris Saint Germain. Maybe we drop it to 100, maybe some cheeky bonuses. But Atletico Madrid, I think they're calm. I think Atletico Madrid are calm. Julian Alvarez has a long contract, but if he wants to leave, they're fully okay offloading him as long as they get the money that they want. And they would obviously much rather sell to Paris Saint Germain than Barcelona, a direct rival in La Liga, just like they did with Griezmann before, just like they did with Arda Turan before. I'm extremely excited. I genuinely hope this transfer happens because he would absolutely cook. Julian Alvarez, Ousmane Dembele, Khvicha, Kvara. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'll be updating you guys as usual all the way into whenever this transfer happens. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. That's been it from Boy PSG, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez Paris.